The Colorado Avalanche let a key point slip late against the Kraken. And when it came to overtime, Seattle didn't even let them touch the disc. So all they could do was watch. The best players in Avalanche weren't at their best. And one of their best had lost his cool. As with any game, you're pitting good against bad. So it's time to take a look at pros and cons of game against Kraken. Mikko is losing his composure. Less than 2 months ago, Rantanen received unsportsmanlike conduct penalties for yelling at the referees in back-to-back matches. That's what he said a few days later. It's probably better to just try to stay cool. It's hard when you lose matches. And these things happen when you disagree. It's fast, I think, from now on. The best way for me, us leaders, and the whole team, is to focus on what we can do. The less we talk to the referees, the more they call us. We'll probably just have to focus on our game. It happened again, and his coach almost pulled him over for it. I don't know what was shown on TV, but at end of second period, Rantanen centered on ice following referees. He was clearly annoyed by a missed call and was talking to them. Then he hooked his stick and then shouted at the referee. That's when the referee turned around and handed him an unsportsmanlike behavior. You may be frustrated with the referee calling the penalty and missing calls. However, this isn't the first time that has happened to Rantanen this season. Jack Johnson had already been called for a penalty minutes ago. So by taking a penalty, Rantanen put his team in an even more difficult position. It was a selfish move. Team kills on penalties. But putting your team in this position is unacceptable for one of the leaders on the team. Rantanen is in charge of the team with 23 minor penalties this season. This ties him to the league's most 8 times. He's too important to this team to spend that much time in prison. Overtime. When Avalanche and Kraken last went into overtime, Kraken controlled the puck for most of the extra period. They did nothing with it. On Sunday, Avalanche didn't even touch the puck in overtime. And a nasty change by Compher and Toews gave Kraken an easy break and allowed them to walk away with the win. Very easy. Plus 3-5's Kraken took its chance. But Avalanche has done a very good job of keeping everything out. Every time Kraken tried move Georgiev from side make it easier. See, the penalty shooters pressed their sticks against the puck. And when they shot, Georgiev was there to stop them. This should really give Avalanche momentum for the rest of period. Unfortunately it didn't. Plus Alexander Georgiev, he wasn't the main reason for Dallas' loss, as the team in front of him didn't help him much. Still, you wanted to see the starting goalie on the team come back with a great performance. Georgiev did just that. Only in the second period did he have to stop 2 more breakouts and 1 more halftime break. He stood straight at 5v3 in the third period and was great at penalty kills all night. He was frustrated after match. Probably because he played well and the team in front of him looked like they were stuck in mud. Regardless, he was the best player of the evening. Top players after the match. Bednar said he didn't like the game of his top players. It's really hard to disagree. MacKinnon had scored a great goal in first period but didn't do much for the rest of night. It was his only shot on the net with equal strength. His turnover at end of third quarter allowed Kraken to level game, and only Nieto had worse possession numbers than superstar center. Rantanen finished with only 1 equally powerful shot on the net and, as mentioned above, completely lost his composure. Makar looked better than yesterday and hit the post late but didn't have the game. Nichushkin looked like a man pretending to be sick. And Byram had an empty night. It's hard to win when most of your best players aren't playing anywhere near the best. Jack Johnson. This was one of those games where it got stuck. Not in a good way. MacKinnon had turnover on game-leveling goal. But Kraken managed to keep puck in zone as Johnson failed in zone exit. He had the worst possession numbers on defense. And every defender performed better when not paired with him. plus new fourth line. It was a strange combination involving two players who had just recently been placed in second place. But it worked. They produced a nice goal and had a good zone time. Newhook and Malgin were the only skaters to finish with positive possessions on the Avalanche. Plus Erik Johnson's health. I saw Johnson after the game and he was walking around without a boot. Someone told me that the spring had slipped in the morning. It should be in front of everyone because no one saw it. The Avalanche said they'll be learning more about Johnson's injury status this week. And maybe that bodes well.